So in America, I was on a pilgrimage with my parents, and I don't. It's hard for me to call it a pilgrimage personally, because when I think of a pilgrimage, I think of people walking for weeks as they go from different religious location to religious location. And here we were just busing from place to place and eating burgers for lunch. So call it a pilgrimage if you want. But okay, their specialty was salad and burgers. They made really good salads and they made pretty good burgers. Those some of the One of those salads was the best salad I've ever had. The one issue is that the portions were so huge that I probably should have only ordered the salad, to be honest. That was so full. Which, sort of ironic to be on a pilgrimage and somewhat, what's the word? Gluttonous. To be very, I was being a glutton on the pilgrimage, but I also didn't want to waste food, because if I didn't eat that, it was just gonna be thrown out, and that feels wasteful, and I don't like doing that. So yeah. Very good. As we went from church to church, I noticed a pattern. Well, I didn't notice it. They told me a pattern that was happening. The guy who was touring us, he was talking about how the churches they're modernistic, and they have a lot of modern traits, which, I'm not much of a fan of. I kind of like how old architecture looks a lot more. Essentially, the modern one kind of doesn't feel special. Doesn't feel like a holy ground as much. It felt like it was in an apartment or a museum, as opposed to somewhere important, which is how they should feel. And there was this really odd thing that I noticed also. There was a church that they showed us a picture of what it is now and a picture of what it was, I think, 50 years ago. The one 50 years ago was so beautiful. And then the priest went on explaining how, they had to renovate it. Or no, it wasn't even that they had to. The priest said that they renovated it. And from what I can tell, it was out of stylistic reasons. So what you're telling me is they spent money to make it worse. Is that what you're telling me? What? I'm not angry, but it's definitely really depressing to think about that. Can't really go back on that choice. They had something that was very beautiful and they got rid of it. What? Let's shake this tree. So we go on with our little pilgrimage, and there was some other place that looked nice. There was some stuff that kind of looked more old. And at some point, after Mass, I went out to the fields, or no, at some point right before Mass, I went out to the fields and I saw so many cool bugs. They're different from the bugs that live where I live. So I got kind of hooked onto that. And I was just checking my watch to make sure that I get back before Mass starts. And I gave myself 30-minute leeway to be 30 minutes early, because I'm just that smart. Yeah. Think ahead of time. Bruh. And I was trying to catch these bugs, and I was like, I have complete dominion over you. You're trying to escape. I will catch you. I will go and capture this little grasshopper. So I go chasing it for like 10 minutes straight. Nothing happens. It's completely out of my reach. I try over and over and over. I just can't. Then I'm like, okay, I'll try catching a dragonfly. I try to catch it, without killing it, and I try over and over, but I can get a certain distance, but the last step that is the distance I'd be able to catch it from, it always leaves, and it's like, bro, is this thing smart? This thing, I swear, I feel like I'm losing in a game of nature. And as a human, I could make a net and capture, but that would be cheating. I just felt really weak, really insignificant. And when in front of these bugs, I couldn't even capture these wee little things. Because, back in my city, bugs are kind of not very smart. You can catch a grasshopper, put it in a box, and, close the lid. Easy peasy. Easy peasy. Here, you need a big net to catch it. It's a bit of an odd experience. Maybe if I grew up there, I would have gotten used to that and been good at catching them. But what's on the corner of the screen? I'm being recorded by someone else that's not me. Oh, it's a mosquito is messing with my camera. He's climbing on my phone like a psychopath. Something that, but more than the actual activity itself, something that stuck with me was once I got onto the bus again, I realized that just being in the countryside for half an hour, or I guess being in the countryside for a few hours, completely changed my mood as like a human, you know what I mean? Like the way I lived, the way I felt, it was so nice. It makes me really wish I could have grown up in that sort of area. But pros and minuses, there's problems there, you're happier, but you have to do things to work harder. I should probably check on time because it's my sister's birthday and I don't want to be late. That would be a really bad luck. So, I really like the Americans. There's something about the Americans that really felt nice. Even though at first I had my doubts because of, let's just say, appearances. But when I started talking to them, like the people in the Uber, just, of course people in the pilgrimage because they're other Catholics, but just people in the Uber, they were just so nice. I could never imagine that happening where I live, in my city, Just everyone was so nice. It was nice. My mom said, this is just small town syndrome. And, small town syndrome is essentially this mental disorder where people are kind to each other. Completely blows my mind. I'm used to people being nice to each other, but, nice, they're polite. They don't really care. They're just kind of talking to you. It's like, oh, sorry. Like Pokemon saying sorry, Thank you. You say the typical words, but, never really feels like there's weight behind them. It feels like these people aren't nice. It feels like these people are nice, but they're not kind. And the Americans were kind, which is bizarre. Absolutely atrocious. Freaky. absolutely. It's a weird thing. How can you just look at a fellow human and, and want to talk to them? What? How? These people. And it was just regular civilians being all nice, being all kind. It felt like they really, and it's a good new feeling. Yeah. I think I'm Chell. That's it. Cheers. Oh my gosh. That was long.